Welcome back to Orange Blossom Healing, the channel where I am excited to help you feel better with diet and lifestyle. Today we are talking about grounding, also known as earthing, and the many benefits that it can provide for you, how to do it, and how long you should be doing it for. So if that's something that interests you, let's go. So first of all, what is grounding or earthing, which you've probably heard about because lots of people are talking about it now, and that is a really good thing. So grounding is the act of putting any part of your bare skin on the earth. So it could be most commonly your hands and your feet, and it could be any part of the earth, from soil to grass to sand to large bodies of natural water like rivers or lakes or the sea, to even the big boulders and roots that you might see coming out of trees and out of the earth that are really connected and part of the earth. So that's what you want to think about when you're thinking about where to ground. And like I said, most commonly you would use your hands. So if you're gardening, you'll be doing that anyway. But otherwise, a really easy one is your feet. If you're a cold water swimmer, then brilliant. You can be in the water any time of year. And obviously in summer, we're all more likely to be in large bodies of water. So how does this all relate to earthing? Well, the earth is negatively charged. And when you touch it with your bare skin, the energy from the earth flows through you in the form of electrons. It's a little bit like recharging your battery. The very fabric of our bodies is called the living matrix, and it needs regular recharging. So the earth is really our charger or battery. So I think it's useful to understand a little bit more about electricity here and how we conduct electricity and how the earth conducts electricity. So in our resting state, in our parasympathetic nervous system, we are negatively charged, and the earth is slightly negatively charged also. So everything that we do is controlled and enabled by electrical signals running through our body. When we talk about the nervous system sending signals to the brain, or synapses firing, or simply our brains telling our hands what to do, what we're really talking about is electricity carrying a message from A to B. So we are constantly, as humans, producing electricity. In fact, the human body at rest can produce, on average, 100 watts of power. The human body is also capable of producing up to 2,000 watts of power if you're, say, sprinting or doing something very energetic. The 100 watts is enough to light a light bulb. And that's why when you get an electric shock, it kind of interrupts the operating system, a bit like a power surge or a power cut. If you get struck by lightning, it's enough to completely fry your body's electrical system. And as humans, in our resting state, we are negatively charged. It's important to know that the earth is also negatively charged. If you think about our ancestors, they walked the earth barefoot, they slept on the earth, and they were almost always connected to it. Inflammatory disease is something that has been developed slowly in our modern world. Obviously, there are other contributors to inflammatory disease, and I'm not saying that grounding is the only cause, but the fact that we have put carpets in our homes and concrete on our roads, and the fact that we wear socks and shoes to stop our feet from having any kind of connection with the earth stops us from benefiting from its electrons. Earthing is a reconnection with the ground, and scientifically it shows measurable differences in things like white blood cells, cytokines, and other molecules involved in the inflammatory response. That's why we can say with confidence that the act of grounding or earthing reduces inflammation. If you are interested in other ways to boost your health for free that are completely accessible to everybody, then you need my guide to free health. You can download it by clicking the link below, and it is completely free, my gift to you. It includes 10 free health hacks, earthing is one of those, that you can use to help better your health and the health of your family. I hope you love it. This kind of recharging of our negative electricity also obviously moves us into our parasympathetic nervous system, so our rest and digest nervous system, where we feel calmer and less stressed. Our mitochondria love electrons. They're basically the currency of energy. So when we earth or ground, we actually feel much more energized. So how long should you ground every day? Well, there's no exact answer backed by science, but if you think about our ancestors who were in touch with the ground basically all of the time, then ideally for at least half an hour a day, you would be doing this. Now, clearly the seasons will support your grounding. So in summer, it's much easier to walk around barefoot on the sand and on the grass. And in winter, it takes a little bit of willpower to stand outside when it's cold. You can wrap up the whole rest of your body, and that's what I like to do in the garden. So you can be really warm up top and just have your feet out. And although half an hour and upwards is optimal, during the winter, personally, I only get around 5 to 10 minutes of earthing per day, realistically. Sometimes it's a little bit more, but usually I do it in the morning, and that's all the time I can afford for this practice. And the reason that I know that it already impacts me with 5 to 10 minutes is that when I don't earth, I feel much less resilient to things that happen during the day and to my stress levels. So I become much more stressed out much more quickly and much more reactive if I haven't grounded. And also I notice it with my sleep. So I generally sleep much better if I get my 5 to 10 minutes in versus not getting anything in at all. So things like anxiety and symptoms of depression are also enormously reduced with grounding or earthing on a regular basis. And as I mentioned before, we have a better immune response. So really it's great for the treatment of both chronic and autoimmune diseases. Now, I'm not saying that grounding and earthing alone will combat autoimmunity or chronic diseases, but if scientifically it shows this reduction in inflammation and indeed a reduction in pain, why not give it a go? It's free and is accessible to you as it is to me. Earthing has even shown to speed up wound healing. So it's a perfect therapy to consider if you're in recovery. Inflammation is the cause of some of our biggest and scariest diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, arthritis, cardiovascular disease. Because our bodies have this ongoing demand for electrons, if we don't spend time earthing or grounding, they're not replenished, and therefore inflammation has the possibility to increase and develop. Earthing has been shown scientifically to actually improve blood flow, to better supply cells and tissues with oxygen and nutrition. It even helps with sleep. Don't take my word for it. I'm going to link a couple of really cool resources below so that you can go and look at some of the science and even check out a documentary on earthing in a tool. So my recommendation for you is just to get out and do as much as you can each day. I am happy to be the crazy lady with her shoes off with friends in the park or on the beach or wherever I may be that gives me the opportunity to quickly get my feet out and get them connected. So if you're happy to be the crazy person, then that will also serve you in terms of your grounding. Lots of people ask me about grounding sheets as an alternative to getting their bodies out and connected with the earth. And I'm not going to speak about that in depth in this video, but what I will say is that instinctively, my idea around this is that it's always better to do what our ancestors did. So to be connected directly with the earth, for me, is instinctively a better way to receive all of the benefits that we've talked about versus using the connection that is created via the plug that connects in your grounding sheet. So I'm not an expert in this, and that is just my personal take, but I would always say it's better, plus it's free, to just get your feet out and stand on the ground outside. So I hope that video on earthing helps to clarify what it's all about and why you should be doing it. If you're a regular grounder, then I'd love to hear in the comments what your favorite benefit is. I challenge you to have a go today. Whatever the weather, see if you can get your feet out, even for just a couple of minutes, or get your hands on the earth and see how you feel. Okay, that's it. I'll see you next time.